Welcome! So far in the series, we've looked at definitions of mental health, types of therapists, choosing which one is right for you, and taking charge of your mental health. In this episode, we're going to take a look at what happens in the therapeutic space. This is where the real work begins. So in the therapeutic space, therapists are responsible for the interventions, the techniques, and the approaches, and the client is ultimately responsible for the outcomes. A therapist can't make a client change their behavior or make better choices, but they can use interventions to help the client become more self-aware, become aware of their own needs, and how to go about meeting them. Different approaches and techniques are used to guide the client, but ultimately, it's about taking charge of your own mental health and doing the work necessary. Participating in therapy is not a passive activity where you just go into any therapist and expect them to fix you. You're taking on a role where you're an equal participant in the process. It's important to know what the therapist does, and then as a client, what you're responsible for. Sometimes you hear things like, oh, why can't you just read a self-help book? Why can't you just sort yourself out? Why do you have to go and talk to a complete stranger? Well, would you tell a child to go learn to walk by themselves? It's the same thing. As humans, we learn in relationship with the other. We're learning to relate to ourselves and others through the relationship with the therapist. It's often said the therapeutic relationship between client and therapist is the therapy. Like being able to say when you're angry, for example. How many of us are able to say it in the moment, right? When you feel anger, how many of us can actually say it to a work colleague or our friend or our partner? Often we don't, and we suppress it, or we explode and regret it. But you can learn how to express your emotions in a healthy way. If you can explore and articulate the reasons why you are angry to your therapist, this can help your connection to yourself and your emotions, and you will be able to deal better in the moment with situations like this. That's just one small example, and the more trust and connection you have with your therapist, the richer the rewards for the work you put in. Imagine if the therapist does something to annoy you. Maybe they're late for an appointment, and you're able to say it in the moment in an assertive and contained way. How helpful would that be for the client moving forward in their other relationships? I often say to my clients, this is your playground where you can bring all of yourself. Therapy isn't about going to an expert with all the answers. It's about finding a person you trust and feel safe to walk along with you as you explore your inner world to find the right answers for you, that in turn can help you create a fuller, balanced, and more authentic life. You have to find the answers yourself. Sometimes the answers can come pretty quickly, and sometimes you can be working for a long time when suddenly something will happen. There are no shortcuts or easy fixes. The path to success is in trusting the process, showing up for yourself, and doing the work.